Let's see what this Doctor Who is all about.
I heard the song of my people.
Don't you mean our people? For a long while I've been wanting to watch Doctor Who, and since I finished Dark Shadows, I thought I should start watching this series. But from the beginning. From the very beginning, starting with the first episode that premiered 50 years ago on November 23rd, 1963. Since each season of the classic era of Doctor Who is a serial, I will be reviewing each story/serial of the show and not the entire season or series. The first serial has been dubbed after the name of its first episode, An Unearthly Child, but it has also been called either 100,000 BC or 200,000 BC due to the setting of the story. The story of this serial, as I will quote from the back of the DVD box, is two teachers follow a mysterious student home to a police box, and the Doctor takes them on a short excursion back to 200,000 BC. I must point out here that the Doctor taking the two teachers is being put lightly, for he actually kidnaps them so they don't tell anyone about him and his granddaughter Susan being aliens and traveling around in a TARDIS that is bigger on the inside and can travel through space and time. Overall, this story was not a strong one to start out the series on. It felt like a weak, simple storyline involving rival cavemen fighting over leadership and creating fire. The sets were nice, and the little special effects used were nice, but not much in the story seemed like a Doctor Who story. Later episodes, we see alien planets and species and travel to parts in history that we know about and get excited about. And it all looks spectacular and have great special effects. However, I will admit that as weak as this story is, it is a good starting out point for the series to introduce it to the public, mainly kids at the time before whole families were watching the show, and begin to teach you about what the show is about and who these characters are that we will be following along with these in these adventures, and also get introduced and get taught about the intelligence of this science fiction. In this serial, we are introduced to the Doctor, who is an old man seeing the universe with his granddaughter Susan. My first impressions of the Doctor is, as many describe the first Doctor, as old and grumpy. In this serial, we see the Doctor is an old man who doesn't want to get involved in any trouble and doesn't like the new companions that are with him and Susan. Even though he is grumpy, he is also immediately trustworthy, for once he is forced into fixing the situation, he fixes it and is able to get himself and his companions in and out of problems and back into the TARDIS. In later episodes, he becomes attached to his new companions, Ian and Barbara, and wants to help them get back to their own time. But that comes later. Out of 5 stars, I give this story 2.5. The half is extra points for effort and originality. The series was on the verge of cancellation at the end of this serial, and thus something had to be done to bolster the ratings. So in the next serial, the Doctor and his companions arrive on the planet Skaro and meet an enemy that will scare children for generations to come and become a reoccurring foe bent on becoming the most dominant species in the universe: the Daleks.